How the Industrial Revolution Affected Bishop's Stortford by Toby Range. The Industrial Revolution took place from around 1760 to around 1820. You may be asking what the Industrial Revolution was. Well, it was a change in the way factories were made, and how they added in many new ways of travelling throughout England. Let's start off with the factories. Before the revolution they would make everything by hand in small workshops or at home. Then after time they had what they needed to build factories. Each worker would do one simple task to help manufacture the product. Then by the end of the revolution they would use the same system, however use canals as communication at the same time. Obviously this caused lots of pollution. For example, the water would turn green. This affected people's lives because it would make them want to go outside less. Now let's talk about transportation. Before the revolution they had muddy and uneven tracks which horses would pull carts along. By the end of the journey the horses' chins and necks would be weakened. This would be because of the rope they were attached to, which was strangling them. Then they invented turnpike trusts. Turnpike trusts were very useful yet very bad at the same time. This is how they worked. The owner of the road would charge people to use it. They were much faster with less obstacles in the way. They were good because the owner would make a lot of money and they were much easier to travel from place to place so people could trade. However, they were bad because you would get stuck behind horses and carts which were loaded with very heavy goods. They weren't the best way to travel, so they decided to invent canals. Canals were quite hard to navigate through and carry lots of goods through. That was because they were very narrow and shallow at some points. But they were useful because turnpike trusts weren't working out. All they would need was a horse, a boat and two people. One of the people would be on the side of the canal with the horse whipping it to make sure it would go in a straight line. Just like the turnpikes, the horses' necks and chins would be weakened because they had a rope around their neck pulling the boat. The other person would be in the boat. Because of all of the canal's flaws, they invented a new way to transport. They were trains. Trains were the most complicated vehicles created during the revolution. People created their own ones and they had a race to pull the other trains on their side. It was basically tug of war but with trains. The winning train would ride several people on it that day. An interesting fact is that someone got ran over by it. But how did this affect Bishop's Stortford? Well, thanks to the revolution there is now a railway which can get you to several places. The River Stort has been slightly improved. It is now better for boats such as kayaks. And last but not least, all of the factories that have been built and that have changed their systems.